Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Underground. This is the briefing on the Kabul situation for August 26th into the 27th, so over the period of darkness. This is being recorded at 1700 Eastern Standard Time. Very kinetic activity today. The main update has been the several IED attacks on the Abbey Gate, the Baron Hotel ECP, and the North Gate of H. Kaya. We're hearing as many as 7 IEDs have been detonated so far, but the situation is very, very kinetic, and it is changing literally faster than we can type here. So we expect more IED attacks to continue throughout the night and into the morning. These IED attacks have resulted in, as of right now, the numbers are 12 KIA, 11 Marines, and 1 Corpsman, and 15 others wounded. This was confirmed about an hour ago by the CENTCOM Commander General Kenneth McKenzie. Additionally, it looks like U.S. forces are currently in full extraction mode from HKIA. Our assessment here, based on what we've been seeing, is that the United States will most likely be gone before the deadline is up, with time to spare. We're also seeing limited unconfirmed reports that U.S. forces are currently welding the gates closed at HKIA and not allowing anyone, regardless of citizenship status, through. Additionally, on the diplomatic front, it has become public knowledge as of the past 30 minutes or so that United States officials have given a list of names of American citizens and green card holders to the Taliban, which has prompted outrage from virtually every person we can see. Done allegedly by the U.S. forces slash government in order to facilitate the Taliban letting Americans through to the airport through the cordons and the checkpoints that they had set up to stop locals. As we can have plainly see, this did not work, and now the Taliban have a list of most American citizens. So if you are an American citizen or green card holder who is currently stuck in Kabul, the Taliban most likely knows exactly who you are. This will most likely complicate the situation as every minute that goes by, the probability of a land egress to the Pakistan border is becoming more and more likely for most people. Likewise, Pakistan has quietly been preparing for refugees over the past few hours. They issued a statement to all of the hotels in Islamabad in which they ordered them to stop taking reservations for people and to clear out their hotels as soon as possible for the incoming flux of refugees. They did this quietly and not directly because Pakistan has, over the past few days, there's been a lot of consternation at the border checkpoints out of Afghanistan. They did open the Chaman crossing again, so Pakistan is not exactly eager to receive refugees, but it looks like they're changing their tune a little bit and expecting a lot of people. So that's at least some positive news in that sphere, because it looks like Pakistan is going to be the next best option for most people to get out of the area. So let's go ahead and jump right to the map, and I can show you all of the updates that have occurred as of just a few minutes ago. Okay, so here on the map, I'm going to show you where these IEDs were detonated. We don't know exactly where the blast seat was located for these IEDs, but basically this stretch of road here is pure and utter carnage. Likewise here to the north gate, where the people have been trying to get in via the Suez Canal, a lot of videos coming out showing dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of casualties. Right now, reports are sketchy. Whenever a bombing occurs, really historically, whenever a bombing occurs in a third world nation like Afghanistan, the numbers can fluctuate wildly. So, local hospitals have said anywhere from 40 people killed, upwards of 200. It's really hard to say. Our guess is that once the morning comes, because it's nighttime there right now, once the morning comes, we'll probably have a better understanding as to how many locals were killed from these explosions. But like I mentioned, as of right now, the United States is confirming 12 KIA. As I mentioned, ISIS is definitely making their presence known throughout the rest of the city. So let's check out some of those attacks. Just a few minutes ago, We've gotten reports of 2 IEDs detonating in the vicinity of Sharinal Park. Have no idea where actually it occurred. Most likely on one of the main roads, and these explosions were, of course, targeting the Taliban. All right, let's push over to another one. There is heavy fighting in the vicinity of Darulaman Palace, which is way down south in Kabul. We could see here the airport's up here. Lots of fighting. It's been going on for a couple of hours now. We've gotten video after video of just constant automatic weapons fire and several explosions. Sounds kind of like smaller explosions, but it's really hard to tell from the videos. But significant fighting in the vicinity of Darulaman Palace. Also, there was an MAIED. There was an MAIED that detonated on the side of a Taliban vehicle on Pulisukta Road. And MAIEDs have become a staple by both Taliban and ISIS fighters in the Afghanistan conflict over the past few years. Basically, it's just an IED with a very large magnet on it that can stick to the side of a vehicle. They've been devastatingly effective for the Taliban used them for political assassinations and things like that, because really you just take out whoever's in the vehicle. So very effective, and the ISIS guys have clearly made use of that today. Also, there was an attack, some small arms, and reportedly an IED that went off in the vicinity of Sharia Shamali. Have no real grid for it or anything. These are all just locals giving us street names and slang for where these IEDs are detonating, so it's hard to say exactly where they are. There was also an IED that was detonated in the township of Baba Mina right here. Also, really hard to say where exactly that was, but as you can see, it is a significant distance away from Kabul, and ISIS is allegedly the ones behind that as well. So these attacks are coming, like I mentioned, faster than we can even type or figure out that they're there. Now, switching gears for a second, when it comes to egress routes out of HKIA and Kabul, if you are not able to get onto the airfield to get onto an aircraft, it looks like I mentioned, with every minute that passes, the land options are looking a lot more like they're going to be the options for a lot of people. And there are really 2 main ways to get out of Afghanistan from the Kabul region, and neither of them are great. So let me turn on our district layers here. All right, so when it comes to getting out of Afghanistan from Kabul via a land route, there aren't that many options. There are only 6 border checkpoints along the Afghan border, and really only 2 of them are decently viable options. Neither of them are particularly survivable. I just wanted to put that out there. These are very dangerous routes at this point in time, and this chance for success is extremely low, but I'll point them out. So the worst option, the less ideal option, is the very, very long journey all the way from Kabul down to Ghazni, and then from Ghazni all the way down to Kandahar, and then from Kandahar to the Chaman crossing. That's one of the checkpoints that Pakistan has recently updated, but this road has caused a lot of death and misery in its day, and it has not changed very much. There are Taliban checkpoints all along this road. We don't know exactly where. The team here is working on figuring that out, but it is not a good option. But hey, I just want people to know that it does exist. The other option is to take the road to Jalalabad. As you can see here, very treacherous highway. Let's see if I can turn it and give you some perspective as to the terrain here. This terrain is pretty gnarly. It looks a lot better on the map here than it really is, but this particular pass here has become infamous for ambushes. So very treacherous road. You see how much it winds through these mountains till it gets to Jalalabad, and once you get to Jaybad, then you can hook up and take the road to Momandara, and then from Momandara out through Torkham Gate, another infamous place. So not super great options. The Torkham Gate one you can get to faster, but again, these roads are very, very dangerous. Then again, Kabul is dangerous as well. So people who are on the ground are having to make decisions, and it's really hard to figure out what to do. But I just wanted to highlight for those of you at home who are watching and even for those on the ground who are looking at options, this is really what we've been able to find so far, and it's not ideal. There are some other options that we're pursuing right now, but really, from a geographic standpoint, we're kind of limited by the terrain. We're limited by geography, and it's not really a positive solution. Now, of course, there are other options. Hunkering down in a safe house until other flights can be arranged. If aircraft will even be allowed to land or take off from HKIA after this 31st deadline, we don't know. No one can guarantee anything at this point. So the situation on the ground is not good. It is deteriorating by the second, and we expect it to remain very kinetic over the next day as U.S. forces withdraw. So that's all we have for right now. The situation is highly dynamic. Like I mentioned, by the time this even gets uploaded to YouTube, this information will most likely be stale. But I just wanted to put this information out there for anyone who is following along and hasn't figured out what's going on the ground. For almost real-time updates, we're dropping those on all of our platforms that we're on. Telegram, if you're still in our Keybase and you can get in, good. Otherwise, Element is an option because Keybase is not great. We're also pushing updates out via Instagram. And of course, if you need this KMZ, you can always email us directly at s2underground@protonmail.com. All of the links for these KMZs will be in the description below. So there you go. And even though right now this slide might be kind of a moot point, I just wanted to throw this up there again for anyone who hasn't seen it. These are just some resources you can use. Although right now, again, like I mentioned, it doesn't seem like it's going to be very possible or feasible to get out via the air at this time. Things may change. Who knows? We might be surprised, and we might actually be able to get everybody out via the air. But as of right now, it's looking like a very, very remote possibility. And it looks like a lot of other nations, Pakistan particularly, are expecting a lot of massive land migration to the borders. So that's all we've got for today. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you next time. Always remember, fight in the shade.